What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the president of Mar-a-Lago of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, how are you this week?
Strong.
Are you always just strong?
No, there's some weeks where I'm very strong.
That's right. Have you ever been down in the dumps and feeling bad? Has that ever happened to you? Just feeling not strong?
That's that's weird. I don't know. Well, okay. There was the time when we brought, we just passed D-Day. The great day when, as a 16-year-old, I brought Ivanka to the plastic surgeon, and that was one of the scarier days of my life because we'd picked out the material, the size. We even had some sketch work done of what we wanted her to look like when it was done. But you know what? When your precious daughter and you, I've heard, uh, it's weird. They keep sending us tech stuff guys that have just had daughters, but I hear you've had a daughter recently.
Yes, yes. She's a
Very,
week old.
very active tech stuff agency apparently. But you'll know that when you send your precious daughter into a surgeon for a sweet 16 birthday to get tasteful double D breasts, you you feel nervous. And I trusted. We did. It was a good doctor. The doctor had worked on two of my wives and three of my mistresses, so I knew the reputation. But it was during that surgery, I was still very nervous. So I would say then was the closest I'd been to down in the dumps.
How do you vet like a boob doctor? How did you go about it?
Well, I get, I bribe him and get the addresses of his patients. He shows me pictures and I say, okay, that one looks nice. And then, uh, I have my people talk to them and arrange a meeting. And then, you know, a little bit of alcohol and some nice money. And then all of a sudden they're naked and you get to do a full inspection.
Well, that's
And then you're gone before they wake up.
what when you have a lot of money and you have a lot of power, I guess you get to do things like that. Good for you.
When you're a celebrity, they let you drug random breast augmentation patients and feel them up.
What a life you live. Now, your birthday is coming up next week. Are you excited to celebrate your birthday?
Well, I mean, of course.
Well, some people don't like their birthday. Some people don't like celebrating their birthday. Some people don't like getting older.
I'll tell you who hates my birthday, melatonin,
Why did you hate your birthday so much?
because the prenup stipulates some very strong activities. And we believe, contract is a sacred bond between a lawyer, a mail order whore from Transylvania, and a billionaire real estate mogul.
Well, it's very exciting. I want to share that it's your birthday next Monday when we record the podcast. So we
You're
are
talking
going.
about my birthday like it's Bet Online AG. How about you talk with some,
Okay.
from the heart? How about from the heart?
I'm excited for your birthday because it is going to be a live. It's going to be a live episode for our perfect 10 members.
8
But
p.m. Are we doing 8 p.m.
yeah,
Eastern?
we'll do 8 p.m. Yes, we're going to do 8 p.m. and it's going to be a
As long as
live.
we're wrapped by 9:15, because that's when Roger Stone's wife and her 14 male friends arrive for the sort of main event.
Is that how it is?
Okay,
Okay.
well, technically, if I'm being honest, this is maybe not friendly for the kids, but it's because it's my 75th birthday. Roger Stone's having 75 of her friends come in, and
Okay.
she's blowing out the candles, if you know what I mean. Oral sex,
I understood what you were saying.
oral sex on
I
all
got you.
75 men
That's crazy. That
while
is
I
a
eat while I
very
eat birthday cake.
That's sounds like a very tiring evening for this woman.
She's tough. She is, we call her BB tough BB, but whatever the hell Roger
She's tough
Stone's wife's
BJ.
name is, let me tell you something. She's so tough. I don't even know her name. I just look at her and say, there's that tough, we call her a filling station, like a truck might go to.
The tough filling station. So I'm very excited. So next week is going to be it's Flag Day. It's also your birthday, and we
No,
are
Mike Pence, Flag Day.
with an L. Yes, Flag Day. We're gonna have a live episode with a Q&A for our Perfect 10, but it's gonna go out to everyone. Because our Perfect 10 are gonna get 2 live episodes this month.
So it's basically live episode can be attended by the Perfect 10 Monday
Right.
at 8, but it will still go into your Apple Tunes and your Sugarfly and your Switcher, all the platforms. It'll go into all
Stitcher,
the platforms
yes.
like a regular episode. Just the poor
That's right.
people and the lower level Patreon people can't attend the birthday party. They can only hear about it.
That's right. So Perfect 10 members, 8 p.m. Eastern, you could attend the president's.
It sounds like people should upgrade to Perfect 10, I would think.
We had a lot of people upgrade this week. A lot of coming in. People want that Iowa Militia Christian Bible Tech College shirt to be made up.
Okay. Bible Tech State College. Okay.
I forgot
Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech College is a dump. Okay, that place is like their graduation rates suck. Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College is a fine institution. And by the way, Thursday, everybody will be able to see the Perfect Tens will also be able to see my commencement speech to the graduating class of IMCBS. A lot of letters.
IMC BTSC.
Right, BTS. They had a BTS cover band perform at their senior dance.
So that is the first live episode.
You know what they did?
What happened?
It was a BTS cover band, and they got to sing one song, and then the whole school started screaming Asian slurs at them, and they're a tough bunch at Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College.
True Americans. Now, we put a vote on Twitter who's going to host the other live show this month for the Perfect 10. And Mike Lindell will be hosting a live show this month for the Perfect 10s. So get on board, people. Lots of new patrons came in this week. We appreciate you. So join up patreon.com/MPGA. 2 live episodes this month for the Perfect 10s.
And if you're not a Perfect 10, we want to show you some respect as well. Your president will be reviewing for Rotten Oranges for the Ivanka level and below, The Conjuring 3.
Ooh.
And a movie I'm not so looking forward to, In the Heights.
I can't believe you're going to watch that movie.
Well, you know what? Mike Pence, big fan of dancing and singing Latino men. So he's already told me it might be his favorite movie of the year. So we'll review those, and then the bonus episode will be a Pride episode with a special guest for the lowest level of Patreon people.
So Perfect 10, that's next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Join us for the live taping for the president's birthday show, which will go out to everyone that week. But our Perfect 10s get to see it live and get to do a Q&A as well.
And bring gifts, of course.
Of course. Gifts are expected. If
daughters,
you can't get in without a gift.
Bring hot daughters that are obviously I was asking my lawyers, I don't know if it's the state that I'm in or the state that they're in, but pick whichever's lower in terms of consent.
How has your Gay Pride Month been so far? Have you done anything festive for Gay Pride?
I gave Mike Pence a wedgie. And you've never seen that guy smile so big in your life.
He's a fan of wedgies. I don't know anyone who's a fan of wedgies except for Mike Pence.
He looked at me. He said, "Sir, you can keep until that underwear rips. I'm not satisfied."
Until it rips or I rip. That's
He's
that's amazing.
now, I hand out, I throw packs of Skittles at some of the gays in near Mar-a-Lago and say, "There you go. I support, I support you, whatever."
Are there any gay pride events at Mar-a-Lago for June?
I think there might be a Pride. There's a Proud Boys event. They rented out one of our ballrooms, so there's a Proud Boys event. I think that's a lot of pride with the Proud Boys. So we're having Proud Boy events.
No, no, pride, like for the gay community.
Oh, so why do they get to have? They don't own Pride.
It's Pride Month. It's
Remember Home Pride? That used to be a bread. It was like a little better than Wonder Bread.
I don't remember Home Pride. I'm sorry.
Oh. No, I used to. Oh, I didn't eat it. You don't have to apologize to me, but for Christmas, the great Fred Trump would give our domestic servants, as their Christmas bonus, a loaf of Home Pride white bread.
Now that's a gift to people. A loaf of bread. What is this? The Great Depression? I mean, come on. That's not a gift.
Are you saying the great Fred Trump didn't give great gifts?
I'm just saying, um, a loaf of bread. What would happen if someone gave you a loaf of bread as a gift?
I wouldn't be friends with anybody who would dare give me a loaf of bread. But no, you have to understand the great Fred Trump starved these people. So you should see them. By the time they were waiting for Christmas and they said, "Mr. Trump, we finally get our loaf of bread." And they were very happy.
Well, yes, if you're starving, I guess you'd be very happy you're getting bread. Okay. Well, I guess he was a hero for giving them the bread.
And great.
Of course. Now, Mr. President, I wanted to talk to you about Mark Zuckerberg came out about your ban of social media, and it's a 2-year ban for Facebook. What are your thoughts on this 2-year ban? Do you plan on fighting this ban?
I've talked to my African community and Kanye, by the way.
Okay.
You know what BAN stands for?
What does it stand for?
A bitch ass N word. And that's what I think. That's what I think of Mark Zuckerberg.
Um, there are other people who have also banned you from social media. There's Twitter that's banned you. Instagram has banned you. I think TikTok has banned you.
You know what I think of Jack from Twitter?
What do you think of him?
He's a bitch ass N word.
So everyone's a ban?
A lot of bans in big tech.
Now
We call it we call it ban tech.
If Kanye was here, would you say the full ban, or you just like to use the abbreviation?
Oh, I'll say it right now. I don't need Kanye here, but he gave me a punch card. I have 10 uses.
You choose them wisely.
It's called being judicious.
Now, this ban, I think you've been banned for what, 6 months already? So you have another year and a half left, or you have 2 years from when he announced his ban this past week?
They think they're being so clever. 2 years. You know why it's 2 years? Because in 2 years, I'll be running for president in 2023 for the 2024 election. So they're going to all of a sudden decide, oh, we've decided he's suffered enough. And now we want the strong Trump traffic back. And they'll put me back on the platforms.
I think that's going to help you, because I'm sure a lot of people miss your tweets and miss your social media presence. And then you come back when you're running for president again. I think you're going to have more attention on social media. So I think this whole ban is going to backfire on them.
It will backfire because they are bans.
Now, are you still going to launch your new social media platform, knowing that your ban there's a time limit on your ban now? It's like serving a jail sentence.
Well, no, we are, because, as you know, I had to shut down my blog because it was too successful.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon Bezos, who's going to take a trip to space. You know why? Because my blog was getting more traffic than Amazon. And he said to me, he said, "Sir, can you please shut down your blog? It's killing my company. It's so bad. I'm going to fly into space." And so I canceled it to be nice because everybody says, "Oh, Mr. Trump, you're so mean. You're so mean." No, it's called nice.
What do you think about him going to space? Do you think it's because of his divorce and he's having a midlife crisis, or do you think he's just trying to impress people, maybe impress a girl? I don't know. Would you go to space if you had the opportunity?
Oh, Bezos' woman looks like if Kim Guilfoyle was hit by a truck.
Okay.
That's when Kim Guilfoyle hooks up with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball to the face. That's Jeff Bezos' girlfriend. Guy gave up half his wealth for a mangled gargoyle. Kim Gargoyle, raw and uncut. So I think it's a total idiot move. I think he's, excuse me, not everybody can be president. Okay, so when I was like doing business, you get a little bored. You're like, I'm so successful. I'm so bored. I need a new challenge. I've dominated business. And Amazon Bezos, he can't be president. He's not as popular or talented as me.
Mm.
So I think he's like, well, I'm bored of doing strong. I'll admit he's doing very strongly with Amazon, and he's probably bored of it. And he's like, what can I do? And he's going to fly to space like an idiot.
So you think it's a done move? You would not take that opportunity because you've done everything else on this planet except go to space. So you wouldn't cross it off the bucket list?
Excuse me. Space is fine. We respect space. It's it's there. I don't see any quality real estate. So why would I go? Sir, would you like to go to where there's no breathable air and no attractive models and no real estate? No. Why would I do that?
You don't think there's a future of having real estate on the moon or on another planet?
No.
Okay. You brought up the Mayweather fight, Logan Paul. In my opinion, I thought it was a perfect example of how dumb our country is, thinking that there was going to be a real boxing match. Really, it was like the WWE of boxing. There was going to be no knockout. Basically, Mayweather toyed with him like he was a puppy and just kind of kept the fight going. Logan Paul
I
was
will say
gassing
though,
out. It
no,
was,
but I will say Larry Paul was sort of built like me. If I was impressed by that because that's sort of how I look in the ring. Uh, but the Mayflower, you never bet against the Mayflower in America. That was a great ship that sent us uh, great people, the Mayflower. So you don't bet against the Mayflower in America.
I understand that. I just thought it was a joke of a fight. And it just shows that if you put two names in there for an exhibition where the rules, there wasn't going to be a boxing match. There are no judges. It's exhibition. It's Mayweather could have knocked him out probably within the first 3 rounds, but I think they made the longer the fight was, you have more people buy in and they make more money. So of course it lasted the distance, and it just proves how dumb our country is. You don't agree with me on that?
Oh no, this is what you get from a Sleepy Joe administration. I think I was sort of I if you remember Rocky Four, it's like we became so obsessed with Russia. All you had to do was get a roided up Russian giant to fight Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition, and he would have murdered him. And then you'd have great ratings.
That's one point. That is true. I mean, but you are mixing a fictional movie and real life. But
Oh no, what I first thought was happening, I was like, the reason I chose Lefty Paul was I said, oh, he's fighting Floyd, but you know, Floyd, we just had a trial. He's no longer with us.
God,
And I thought this has to be the easy. I mean, it's a disrespectful match, but I said this is easy money. You got Logan Newman, Paul Newman going for a win against a tragic it's tragic, but Floyd is no longer with us. How do you lose that fight?
Did you really thought Logan Paul was fighting a corpse?
I thought they got the names wrong. I'm like, okay, we have Paul Logan and George Floyd. They're saying
Mayflower?
the Mayflower, and I go, well, that's got to be wrong. So Floyd. Oh, what if it's George Floyd? So you've got, you know, Joe Rogan, Paul, and Joe Rogan's tough. I thought it was, because you're thinking they probably, to be sensitive, we have a lot of Asian hate. They might have gotten an Asian announcer to say. So I'm like, okay, Joe Rogan Paul. Joe Rogan's a trained fighter, and George Floyd is not with us. So the whole point was, if you bet with BetOnline AG, they'll give it to you clear. But with all these other sites, I was looking at the names going, this doesn't make sense. If I said to you, Joe Rogan versus George Floyd in a fight today, who do you pick?
I'm gonna pick Joe Rogan.
Right. So when they're telling me Joe Rogan Paul, I'm going, I don't know his last name. Maybe Joe Rogan's a stage name and his last name is Paul. Is going up against Floyd Mayflower. I'm going, okay, well, I don't know Floyd Mayflower. I know the Mayflower very strongly, but I don't know. It must be, so it's not my fault. But, I wish Joe Rogan a lot of luck.
Well, Mr. President.
Doesn't he have a brother? Rand Paul, the senator. It was not tough. He got the cat. I bet on his neighbor. His neighbor kicked the crap out of him a couple of years ago.
It's Jake Paul.
That should have been on.
And Logan Paul.
J. Cole, isn't it? Kanye tells me he's a rapper.
Jake Paul.
So J. Cole, who was in Africa playing basketball, because I get all the news from BetOnline.ag. So J. Cole was in Africa, and Rand Paul lost in a fight with his neighbor, and I won a lot of money on that. But okay, well, we're done with sports.
Mr. President, I know you have aspirations of being president once again for our country as well as Mar-a-Lago. And you recently came out saying that you would be a great Speaker of the House.
Well, you mean
continue? Yes, continue. Of course, yes. Okay. Why do you think you would be a great Speaker of the House?
As you know, the first Epi winner, because we are bipartisan, and we don't do cancel culture, we actually gave an award to Nancy Pelosi. On this podcast, she won an Epi for best Trump compliment for a radical left person.
Mm-hmm.
She narrowly beat out AOC's D's for a strong compliment. The very powerful granny breasts. We said, Brett, we're going to be respectful.
Of course.
The granny breasts that she has. And I respect that. And she's tough. She wears heels. I respect that Nancy Pelosi is like 80 and walks around with heels and D cups. That's tough. That's not easy when you're 40 or 50, but to do it at 80, I mean, you have to respect it. I don't like her, but you have to respect it. And once in a while, install cameras in the ladies' room at the Congress.
That's very sketchy, but okay.
So no, it's one of the things. But by the as well as I respect that, I don't have breasts. I have pecs, and I don't wear heels. So if she could do it, I could easily do it. And think about that. And then maybe I'd run for Senate. Can you imagine if I had been all three branches of government? Nobody's ever done that.
I don't think anyone has. So that would be another thing that would go down in history with your name.
Actually, you know what? Somebody probably has. I think Kennedy was, who, by the way, Jackie O, not as hot as Melatonin.
Definitely not.
She was like hot for that day. Can you imagine if Melatonin was back in the 60s? Unbelievable.
She would be the hottest.
I think Kennedy was a representative and then a Senate and then a president, but he didn't make it to a full term, so it doesn't count.
God.
So technically, I'm the only one who could do all of them, I think.
I wanted to ask you, Mr. President.
And none of them have been Speaker of the House.
No, so you would have one up on everyone. I wanted to ask you why your pants were on backwards this week.
They weren't on backwards. This is a nasty, disgusting far left, radical left
The
rumor.
pictures look like your back pockets are in the front.
You know why that? You know why it looks like that?
Why?
You know, you ever heard somebody refer to their package as junk?
Yes.
Well, my tailor said to me when he was fitting me for my strong suits, he said, "Sir, you don't have junk. You're too rich and there's too much here. You have treasure." And he said, "Sir, your treasure is so big that I have to put, it's almost like an ass. There's so much mass contained here. So I'm going to have to make the front of your pants look almost like an ass so that there's room for your massive treasure haul to live."
Well, that makes perfect sense now. Thank you for explaining that. Because America was wondering why, but now we understand because your treasure needs to go somewhere. I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you heard Joe Manchin.
Great guy, great Democrat from West Virginia.
Yes, you praised him for not supporting ending the filibuster.
It's a
We know
very
that-
excuse me, it's a very sacred thing for our country to have the filibuster so that we have strong, not one party ramming through their disgraceful far left agenda.
But you know, the filibuster just stops bills from being passed. You actually were quoted telling Mitch McConnell to get rid of the filibuster, but now you want to keep it.
Yes,
Please explain.
there's nothing to explain.
But if you wanted to get rid of something while you were president and
Yes.
now you don't want to get rid of it,
Yes.
what's the change of heart?
We were trying to save the country.
Okay.
Sleepy Joe is trying to destroy it. It's like this. The filibuster is like a gun, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you're in your house and a bunch of people, okay, a bunch of, you can imagine certain people, we don't need to say anything, but let's just hypothetically, African Americans are in your house saying, "Yo, man, I'm going to burn down your house and then we're going to take Ivanka with us." You'd want a gun to protect yourself, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's like the filibuster. But let's say you're a strong real estate person and you
Mhm.
see a nice property in a neighborhood that happens to be filled with African Americans, and you're going apartment to apartment serving eviction notices on, that, and the person says to you, "But I paid my rent." And you go, "Doesn't matter, we don't care." And then all of a sudden they get very angry. But you're taking over the building. You're going to demolish the building. And you're saying, "I'm sorry, you have to leave, but I don't care if you paid your rent. Get the hell out. I'm demolishing this building." And then imagine that African American who you're trying to kick out of their home has a gun while you're trying to do strong business for America. You wouldn't want them to have that gun. And we call that the filibuster.
I mean, you're comparing life and death situations to getting bills passed. I don't think that is the same.
I don't want African Americans having guns.
Well, we could have just came out and said that. I mean, that would have been a lot easier.
And the filibuster is saving our country.
Well, a lot of people's opinion of the filibuster is really just slows down getting bills passed and getting things done in our country. That's what,
And sometimes, well, it's sometimes, okay, you need that. You need to slow down until you have a Republican in office, and then things can speed up again.
Okay. Well, possibly. Um,
No, definitely.
okay, definitely. Um, I know we have a special guest tonight. We have is he former prime minister yet? Um, BB, I know, is here to join us, but before he joins us, I just want to let everyone know and remind everyone again that we have 2 live episodes this month for our Patreon. To sign up on the Patreon, it's patreon.com/mpga. Choose any level that's good for you, but if you choose the highest level, you get 2 live episodes this month. Also, you get to hear the commencement speech of Iowa Militia Christian Bible Tech State College. You get the Mike Lindell live episode. Plus, you get the movie reviews, the episodes early. You get everything for it. But choose whatever level is good for you. Again, that's patreon.com/MPGA. MPGA. Now, Mr. President, I know you have BB next to you right now. And I hope you guys been having a good time together. And there are questions that our listeners have sent in for BB. I'd like to talk to BB for a little bit, and then after we speak to BB for a little bit, you can come back on and we can wrap up the episode. Is that okay?
That's right. Tough BB. Right, he's doing push-ups in the corner right now. That guy's tough. Our great people on the podcast want to ask the Israeli king some questions.
Hello.
BB, how are you?
Well, we're very tough and very strong right now, and I will always defend Israel against all enemies. And right now, it's just a speed bump in my career.
Well, how do you feel? You know, you defend Israel, but Israel doesn't want you defending them right now.
We are going through a very emotional time after this disgraceful war with Hamas. So, sometimes you need a little break. And I love Israel and I will die for Israel, and that's okay. I don't take it personally. I have defended Israel with every ounce of my life, and I will continue to do so whether they want me to or not.
Now, do you mind if I ask you some questions that listeners have sent in that they want to hear your answers on?
I am happy to answer questions of the podcast listeners of this great man, Donald J. Trump.
So this question comes from so many confusing Twitter and Instagram handles. It's I3XR3X. And this person asks, Tough BB, in your own words, please explain why you do or do not deserve to be granted the Sir honorific title by Dr. President Trump Esquire. How come he just refers to you as BB and not BB Sir or Sir BB? Are you angry about that? What are your thoughts on that?
Donald Trump and I have a beautiful relationship, a very strong friendship. He says he sometimes says to me that I remind him of a heterosexual Mike Pence with a gym membership. And so when you are close friends with somebody, you don't need a stupid title or an honor. He refers to me as the Jewish king, and I think that's fitting. But I think when you're talking to a friend, tough BB is really all I need to hear. That gets to the core of it, and it's a nice term of endearment between the two of us. We're equals. We're both leaders of great nations, and I don't need any additional titles. Israeli king and tough BB are very satisfactory to me.
I agree with you. I think having tough before your name is, higher than Sir.
I don't need your cosign.
Okay.
Nobody calls you tough tech stuff guy.
That is true. This comes from the Archduke of Godliness on Instagram. It says, Dear BB, comment on the reports that you and Ivanka did a provocative 2-person performance of Yentl at Jeffrey Epstein's island that left the former president both furious and highly aroused. Have you been to Epstein Island? Have you had any interactions with Ivanka? Can you confirm or deny this rumor?
That is false. One of the places of disagreement with my great friend Donald Trump, I was not a big fan of Jeffrey Epstein. I thought he represented the Jewish people quite poorly. On Ivanka, however, as some of you may know, I am very close friends with the Kushner family and Jared Kushner in particular. And when Jared Kushner was drunk and they were just dating, he was dating Ivanka at the time. I actually convinced him to send me nudes of Ivanka. And I keep those in my phone to this day. So they are very cherished possessions.
Does the president know this?
You're asking me if I know. Of course, I know. We look at them together.
My God. Okay.
It's like it's like fine art. You look and
Okay.
you say, "Oh, look at that."
Yes, no, I would not do it in any sort of rude, disrespectful, sexual way. I just admire the craftsmanship. You know, the surgeon was Israeli who did Ivanka's breasts.
Ah, okay. Well, that
So there's
makes
sort
sense.
of a mutual pride in the great work that our plastic surgeon did.
Here's a question from Rocka Funkulus on Instagram. So, BB, will you jump on the wearing one's pants backwards fad that your friend calls you Diaper Don? I will not say that. That Mr. President started the wearing your pants backwards. Do you have a treasure as well that you need to wear your pants backwards for?
You know that Israel has a very strong tech sector, right?
Yes.
Well, all I can say is my tailor refers to me as big tech. So I as well have been accused on occasion of my pants looking like they were backwards because of, let's just say they thought it was a new 5G cell tower.
And that's why we call him Tough BB. You don't wanna mess with BB.
The last question from Instagram, and same person, Rocka Funkulus, and will your dojo go up against Steven Seagal's Russian dojo? If he has one, would you have your dojo go up against Steven Seagal's dojo?
Steven Seagal is a fat, stupid mess of a human being. I would not ever let BB Dojo compete against his stupid Aikido dojo.
Okay.
And you can tell him I said that. And if he wants a piece of me, I will fight him anytime.
And you are Tough BB, so that would just go with your reputation.
And he's Fat Steven.
Fat Steve. We have two more questions. These come from Twitter, Facebook. You guys suck today. This comes from Twitter. This comes from Cletus Hackett. And I've heard that BGMP has a poster of a shirtless Tough BB in his office. Can you confirm or deny this?
Well, you know, I'm a modest man. And I can tell you that is true.
Do you feel weird about that? Or are you flattered?
No, I feel flattered. We are very close, Israel and United States. We have a very strong and close partnership. So, as I said, maybe it's aspirational. Maybe Mike Pence, after a few more conversion therapy sessions, will finally emerge as the heterosexual, strong American version of BB that Donald Trump wants him to be.
I understand that. That could it can motivate him. Our last question comes from at Roger_RCK. It's a two-part question. It says, BB, it doesn't call you Tough BB. I'm going to put the tough in. Tough BB, are you still feeling very tough despite the recent setbacks? And the second part of the question, will you have more time to devote to the BB Kai?
That's a very good question. I can tell you I am still very tough. And it's not the first time I've been bounced from office. I came back before, so I am very confident that by 2024 you might see BB and Donald J. Trump in office again. But in the meantime, both for personal fitness and training and to mentor some of the youth of Israel, I will be doing some more hands-on training at the BB Dojo, and I look forward to it. Uh, we have to train our youth. We've gotten we've focused a little too much on the tech and not much on the hand-to-hand combat. So hopefully we will strengthen Israel, and I will get back my fighting form, and I'll be out there beating up Palestinian children in no time.
All right. Tough BB, thank you so much for answering the questions from our listeners. And
Anything for Donald J. Trump, a great leader, a great friend of Israel.
I have one question for you, Tough BB. Have you ever trained any American celebrities? And if so, can you please tell us who and how the experience was?
I trained any American celebrities.
Yes.
Let me think. Yes, there was one.
Who was it?
It was. Do you know Christian Bale?
Yes, he was Batman.
No, well, not when I trained him. When I trained him, his parents had actually been murdered coming out of the opera. And he fled to Israel and said he wanted to give up on life. And I said, well, what do you fear? And he told me he feared bats. So we went to a cave in Israel that was known to have bats. And I trained him in Krav Maga and to overcome his fear of bats. And also, as we've discussed, Israel has an incredible tech industry. So we gave him many gadgets, a lot of technical know-how. And we sent him back to America, where he became a very skilled fighter, a technical wizard, and a crusader. Some might say a dark crusader for justice.
That is awesome. And Tough BB, I appreciate your time with us, and hopefully we'll be speaking.
Although technically Christian
soon.
Bale is he's actually European. He's not American, but I think I just sort of assumed American because he's been in so many American movies.
And he lives in America, I think. So they'll pass. That would be fine. I just wanted to see if you ever trained any celebrities. That's a awesome story. And Tough BB, we appreciate you joining the show, and hopefully we'll be speaking to you again soon.
Always a pleasure to be in the company of a great friend of Israel like Donald J. Trump, and a pleasure to be on this podcast.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, thank you for bringing Tough BB along for today. We really appreciate that. And
How tough is he?
He extremely tough, strongly tough,
but kind of nice at the same time. It was,
charming.
I wish he had been a little rougher on you. It was almost like, I never want to hear that Mike Pence episode again. It's like he was trying to jerk you off through the Zoom.
Well, I appreciate that he was very nice to me. Mr. President, thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to spending your birthday with you next week. For all the listeners, that's right, it's the special Mr. President's birthday show, which will be live for the Perfect Tens. Everyone else will get to listen to it, but Perfect Tens will be live with us, get to ask some questions to Mr. President, celebrate his birthday. We're going to have some surprises for the birthday show. And to join the Patreon, again, it's patreon.com/MPGA. Lots of bonus material this month, and we have surprises for the future. And again, we reach our goal. Iowa Militia Christian Bible Tech State College shirts will go on sale for cost. We will not make a penny on that, and you will get those shirts for cost. And the commencement speech will be coming out this week for Patreon.
It's a pretty crazy amount of content we're pumping out. We want our supporters to feel like they're getting maximum value. It's called value.
And again, it's 8 p.m. Eastern time next week. The invites will go out on Sunday for all the Perfect 10 Patreons. Mr. President, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
I am going to be reinstated in August. thanks to Sydney Powell's great lawyering. And on top of that, hello, everybody. It's JL. A few big announcements. Thursday, Hartford, Connecticut, June 10th, Hartford Funny Bone. If you're on the fence, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, get your tickets or just show up, but need a big crowd for that one, hopefully, fingers crossed. June 18th to 19th, if you're in Long Island, I will be at Governor's Comedy Club opening for Roy Wood Jr. of Comedy Central. Should be fun. And big new announcement just today. I haven't signed the paperwork, but I will be in Boston at City Winery on July 26th, which is a Monday. So we're going to have to record some other time that week. But
We'll figure it out.
City Winery in Boston, as soon as I have that link, which should be the end of next week, you will have it. But Boston is supposed to be a big town for us for this show. So that's a big one for me. So please mark that in your calendar. And thanks. And sign up for my newsletter at jlcomedy.com if you haven't already. Much appreciated.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, JL.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. And as always, God help us all.